Anybody else struggling with dating after their 40s?
Dating over 50 is not easy.
Hi, my name's Eve. I'm 35 years old. I'm 5'10", and I'm looking for a husband. Catch that. I'll pay $5,000 if you find me, Matt.
I am seriously struggling to date in this generation.
The harsh reality is hitting modern women where it hurts. Why wait so long for a man anyway?
Use all men in your life.
I am done. Finished finito with American men.
China, women over 30, if you're not married, there's a word for us. Leftover women.
Women lie to other women and themselves, but biology reminds them otherwise. It's too late. Kindly subscribe to the channel, as it is our sole form of support. Thank you.
If you are dating a girl who is 25 or even frankly 24, you better appreciate and worship her because she is spending her last Leonardo DiCaprio year dating you.
Many women over 50 start to feel invisible. Do you suppose the ones that don't feel invisible are on TikTok?
I am done. Finished finito with American men. No, because tell me why that men here can't plan for shit. Even when they ask you out, they still expect you to plan your own date. Yet I have not one, not two, 3 men that I met in France who are texting and calling me, who are making plans 3 months in advance for when I come to visit. It's really not that hard. I might be on the hunt for a green card this summer.
I used to plan dates, but after getting rejected in the worst way possible every time, I just stopped caring. I think it's because if they plan it and it's not the spot you want to go, then you will start complaining. I mean, think about it. You both are strangers and have no idea about what the other likes. Women just expect men to pick a spot, and when they don't like it, they say, "I've had the worst date ever." It's better to communicate that overall and preferences. And what this woman is doing is wrong also. She's got a roster and dating multiple guys at the same time. I don't think you have the right to complain about anything, madam. Not while you're using dudes for free meals.
But there's a point in time when society stops thinking that you're attractive or deeming you attractive, and therefore like you lose all the worth and the value that and the privilege that came with being attractive.
Excuse me while I go on a rant for a second. There's this trend I'm seeing where 50 to 60, 70-year-old women are saying that they feel invisible. And I just want to say, I see you. I see you, and you are fucking beautiful. You are the embodiment of the life-giving, divine, feminine energy on this planet. And not a damn thing can diminish that shine. This is not the message we want to send to the youth. That there's this wall that you hit, and on the other side of that wall, you're invisible or you're not seen as attractive. Who came up with the standard of attractiveness anyway? Was it men? Have you seen men lately? The part of our species that put in 10% of the effort and get 1,000% in return? And is that standard of attractiveness is because they want to have sex with you? Really? That's the bottom line? Ladies, we need to stop. Our attractiveness, our worth does not come from whether or not somebody wants to have sex with us. We haven't cultivated all this strength and intelligence and energy for that. Let's normalize making vibration the standard of attractiveness. Exuding joy, freedom, enthusiasm, fun. Cultivating that vibration, showering it all over ourselves and exuding it out into the world. Attractiveness is a vibration. Do not buy into the paradigm that it is just the flesh.
Well, no one came up with that standard. It's simply biology and reality. Men are naturally wired to be attracted to younger women because youth is often associated with fertility, beauty, and vitality. It's not a criticism, it's just how things are. But many women struggle with accepting this reality because it challenges the narrative they've been fed about aging gracefully or being able to have it all, no matter what stage of life they're in. As much as they might not want to hear it, women do hit that wall around their 50s or 60s, where they no longer receive the same kind of attention from men as they did in their youth. Society might tell them they can still compete with younger women, but deep down, they know that's not true. They're only left coping with this harsh reality by convincing themselves that men should change their preferences rather than accepting that it's simply human nature.
So I believe the reason why most women believe they are not average, because we have now created the ability to where average women can turn into top-notch women. Let me explain. Between makeup, wigs, hair extensions, filters, body enhancements, any unattractive woman can turn herself into an attractive woman, whether permanent or temporarily. We have the ability to change our look. And because we have the ability to change our look, we think that we are more attractive than we actually are, when really your attraction is mainly based on how you look naturally, right? Because eventually that person's going to have to see what you look like without all of those things on. And regardless of what you put on externally, it's going to come through your kids' DNA.
What they're doing is creating a false identity and presenting that identity to the world. Mainly the reason these women are doing that is because they're insecure about how they really look, so they try and find temporary solutions for temporary happiness. And because they have all of these enhancements, they also believe that they're the prize and bash average men. It's actually quite sad that they can't even go outside to get something without having to draw on their faces.
I am a 50-year-old woman who is child-free by choice, and I want to talk to the younger women and let them know what I regret about my decision to not have children. And, you know, this might be difficult for some of you to hear, but I want to be honest. So, here are my regrets about not having children. None, there's none. It's fucking fantastic. It was a great decision for me.
Here's something men need to understand about women over 50. We don't care about you. We don't need you. We don't want you. In fact, we really don't want you. We're happy on our own. We're thriving. We're living our best lives despite what you may think or say. We don't have to prove anything to anyone. In fact, leave us alone. Please, block me. I wouldn't care if no men ever commented on my page again for the rest of my life. It doesn't mean we don't love our partners, our brothers, our sons, our cousins, our uncles. But men in general, we don't care. I see men all the time making videos. We love women. I love women. Women are the best. Women don't feel the same. In fact, we feel the opposite. Stay away from us. We don't like you. We don't want you. We're going to go have a great day.
Look at her face expressions. Instead of her words, it seems like she's crying and dying inside. Man, she is trying hard to convince herself of that. Every time she says we, she means I, and she also leaves out am miserable. I'm 50, and she definitely doesn't speak for me. Sounds like she's more bitter than content. I'd happily comply with and avoid. No need to ask twice. I mean, just look at this woman. Look how happy she is. Happy enough to get on the camera to let men know that she's living her best life, as if any man had asked her. Happy people don't usually come on the camera to explain how they're thriving and how happy they are. They just live their lives in peace. This woman is probably deeply hurting on the inside, but trying to hide the pain with those fake smiles. And because of her experiences, she's turned bitter and angry at all men.
I am sick and tired of all these Australian men still living with their parents. Like, is this a common thing, or is this just a me issue? Am I picking the wrong guys? Because, like, how am I supposed to be a stay-at-home wife when there is no home to stay at? That's what I'm saying.
Hi, my name's Eve. I'm 35 years old. I'm 5'10", and I'm looking for a husband. Scratch that. I'll pay $5,000 if you find me my husband. I went viral 2 months ago about looking for a husband and being willing to pay $5,000 to the person who recommends, refers, finds him for me. So what's my criteria? I'm 5'10". I want him to be taller, and I'm not going to negotiate on that fact. I have a career. I want him to have one and be passionate about it. I don't care what the career is. I'm open to long distance. I'm open to age. I'm open to religion and ethnicity. I describe my perfect person in a nutshell. It's that charismatic, perfect wedding date who's going to both work the room without you, but come to check in, dance with you and your grandmother, grab a beer, but also engage in meaningful conversation on a variety of topics. Penchant for a British man or a Southern man. I don't speak any other languages though, so I'm gonna need him to speak English. I'm gonna need him to want children, love sports, and love animals. You can email me or DM me, but please don't email my work.
The way these women are asking where are all the good men at, we're going to have more and more women paying for husbands once they hit the wall. But 5,000 might be a little too small, especially if you want a high-value man in your life. And for a woman to be paying for a husband, she has got to be undesirable, meaning she's a red flag.
This is a question for the men out there. TM Rister writes, ask any man that's 50, would he rather be with a 30-year-old or the 55-year-old? 98% would say the 30-year-old. That's a fact. I'm very curious. It doesn't bother me either way, but I'd love to know. So men out there that are over 50, would you purposely choose or only want a woman, if you could choose any mate, would it be a woman 30 if you're at least 50 years old? What say you?
As you get older, your priorities change. When I was younger, I used to date to marry, like seriously, like not letting people waste my time just to marry. Now that I done got older, I have one simple thing I'm dating for, and that's the fuck.
Fellas, you ever hear women say, I am single by choice? It doesn't make any sense. Trust me, I know. By the end of this video, you'll know the truth behind women who say they're staying single by choice. So, the man she desires doesn't want her. She can't find men who earn enough for the lifestyle she wants while still having to work and pay significant bills. This woman is average at best, and the men she thinks she can get when she steps out with her BBL, lip injections, breast implants, excessively long lashes, Japanese cherry blossom body spray, everyday waist trainer, lace front, double chin, and French manicure only care to increase her body count. Be cautious of women who are self-improving. They will continue to bust it open. Once she's qualified for you, she'll have her preferred sex position, flowers, restaurants, deal breakers, and at least 10,000 followers. So, translation. I'm slutting till Mr. Right comes. See you on the next one.
To put it simply, single by choice equals I can't get the man I want, and the man I want does not want me. It's called ego masking, masking the reality that they may not be attracting the type of men they desire anymore. They lean into that idea of being single by choice because it brings them comfort in their lies. This narrative allows them to avoid facing the fact that the dating market has shifted, and those high-value men they once had access to may no longer be interested. By saying it's a choice, they're protecting their egos from the sting of rejection and loss of desirability. It becomes a way to avoid accountability and the need to self-reflect, all while holding on to the belief that they could still attract the man they want if they truly wanted to. But in reality, it's more about coping with the fact that their options have dwindled.
I think my issue with modern dating is that the idea of a man making a dating profile gives me the ick. Like, you picked up those photos? You wrote those prompts? Okay.
And yes, I'm single. Dating in Alaska when you're over 40 years old is really freaking hard. Because, I mean, trying to find somebody who brushes his tooth? I mean, goodness.
The other day I was talking with a friend about how men in their like late 30s and even 40s will date a woman for like 1 to 2 months and then break up with them and tell them, well, I just wasn't ready for a relationship. And my friend was like, how are these men not ready for a relationship? They're single and in their 30s and 40s. And it dawned on me that these men are not ready for a partnership. As women are standing up and requesting more from men in relationships, what these men are actually saying is that I am ready for a relationship. I'm ready for a relationship with traditional values where a woman takes care of me. You weren't taking care of me. You want a partnership. I'm not willing to show up and meet you halfway. These men are ready for relationships. They're not ready for partnerships because they don't want to do the work to meet someone halfway, and they want a woman who's just going to cater to them like their moms.
That's incorrect. And frankly, madam, this is your fault. How are you dating someone for that long and don't notice the signs earlier on? These women are able to spike that man's interest, but fail to keep the man. It has to do with them not being feminine, and they're just overly masculine women. These women will say one thing, but then their actions says another. The other could be after dating you for 2 months. He just sees you as a liability.
Okay, but if you think you can stomach another woman wearing your robe and your slippers, running your household and being good to your man in all the ways you know she can, you keep on treating him like trash like you're doing. It can happen. I love you. Be well.
The brutal truth about dating leftover women. Majority of women 35 and older appears to have matching tendencies that lead to irreconcilable differences. Smart men, like Leonardo DiCaprio, seems to understand this quite well. So, women who manage to hit 35 and never marry are leftover women. You've deviated every essence of femininity. When a man tells this woman, don't do that, she says, I do what I want. You're not my father. When a man says, stop, you will hurt yourself, she says, I can handle myself. When a man says, no thanks, I don't date single moms, she asks, do you not want kids? When a man says, let's have kids, she says, I don't want to have kids. When a man says, I gotta give my baby mother some money for my kids' school clothes, she says, no, child support is enough. When a man marries this woman with kids, she says, we are a package deal, and persuades you to adopt them. When a man says, I want you to fit in my system, she says, I already have a system. When a man is a man, she is not compatible. And that is the brutal truth.
I'm tired of leftovers. They keep demanding a relationship, but I don't see any benefits for me. All of them are incredibly unpleasant. So right, if a woman isn't married by 26 to 29, she's spoiled. She's now entitled. She's not worth it, etc. She's toxic, and I should keep well away from her. I am older than 35. No kids, never married, not interested in men anymore. Happier than ever. We are happy, not leftover. Cheers to being a leftover woman. Cheers, meanwhile. I'm enjoying my life. The reality is, if a woman is 35 plus and still unmarried, she's most likely ran through. And it got to that point because these women were never dating with the intention of finding a man to settle down with. They only start seeking husbands whenever their lives gets tough. That's when they prioritize relationships. By that time, that woman is looking for a retirement plan, not a husband. She wants someone who she can leech off of. All these women commenting and getting angry are just proving his point. Women who aren't leftovers are in marriages.
Hi, can someone please explain to me how Australian dating rules work? Because I don't get it. I do not understand. I feel like if you say one wrong thing, you're left on red, and then the amount of dates that have been organised and then the guy's just never texting me again has never happened anywhere else in the world. And every woman I speak to has the exact same horror stories about Australian men. Someone please elaborate.
I have a question for the men. What the fuck? That's all.
I am seriously struggling to date in this generation. I don't know if it's a whole generational thing or if it's just the men in my city or the men in Australia. But I went on a date overseas and was absolutely floored by the fact that this man, when he came to pick me up, got out of his car and opened the car door for me to get into the passenger side. And then I sat with that for a little bit. How low are my fucking standards that excited me? That's really sad. I mean, he actually turned out to be a bit of a wanker anyway, but at least he opened the car door right. Baby steps.
Personally, as a man, I've learnt the harder I try for someone, the more it pushes them away. Dating isn't worth it these days, to be honest. Why is it that every date I go on, I always pay for everything and then get ghosted? It feels so exploitative. You said everything, but you didn't say maybe it's me. Start from there. Men have learned that being chivalrous doesn't mean much in the courting phase.
Have you been on Tinder? Have you been on Tinder at the age of 56? Or am I 57? I can't remember. Anyways, it's not fun. Ladies, let me tell you, it is not fun. That's the thing I don't understand. My bio on Tinder says, I'd rather meet a man drunk in a bar the old-fashioned way. But I don't go to bars anymore, so here I am. Yet I still seem to attract these dudes that are like, I want to get to know your heart. Can we go for a walk in the park with my dog? Like, what the fuck? I know I'm 56, but really, I'm not at the age where I want to go for walks in the park with dogs. And I don't want to talk about love in the first 5 minutes of a chat on social media, online dating app. It's weird. It's really, really fucking weird. Because if they're not talking about love, they're talking about sex. Sex that they're never going to have because they probably haven't had it in the last 10 years. I mean, neither have I, but I'm just saying.
This is why so many people have told women countless times, it is important to find someone you want to marry once you're younger, if that is your wish. Because once you get older, dating becomes a chaos. The pool of men you once used to attract shrinks down drastically. But these women always feel like it's an attack on them when it's literally sound advice. And not many good men are out there anymore, so when they're unable to find a man, they just end up settling for a cat instead.
If a woman ghosts you, you do not need to ask for an explanation or make her regret her decision. Just move on quietly, because you don't need to prove anything to someone who's not truly into you.
Dating as a 30-year-old in Australia is so hard. I lived in London for 7 years. Guys would come up to you in bars, like come up to you on the street, ask for your number, like not even in a creepy, annoying way, in a way that it was like flattering or like it just is like normal human communication. Dating in Australia, not only is the dating pool so small because there's less people, I guess, the amount of effort that Australian guys put in is insane. It's just nothing. Like they just want to message you for months and never ask you out and never meet up. And I'm like, what's your aim here? Like, do you just want a pen pal? Do you just want a friend to message when you're bored? Like, let's hang out. Let's go to the fucking beach because there's beaches here. Let's go get a drink. Like you could literally just do anything. Now I just have like 50 guys on my Instagram in my DMs messaging me and like replying to my stories. I'm like, you're my fans. I'm not dating you. You're just a fan.
To be blunt, it's probably because she's not attractive enough. Basically, she got friend-zoned. It's kind of rare for that to happen to women, but this here is an example. And efforts goes both ways, just like the phone works both ways. If you want to go out and do something, why don't you ask the man yourself? It's just a typical case where this woman wants to be chased. Sorry, honey, but the men are dialing back from that.
Oh my god, so I'm currently out for dinner with this guy. He's like 22, he's a plumber. You know, it's our first date. And we just finished our dinner and he said he was going to the bathroom and it's been like 20 minutes and he hasn't returned. And I still have to get the bill, but I don't think he's coming back. I think he actually bailed on me and so I have to get the bill now. I just got home and I am absolutely fuming. This guy has literally bailed on me and I had to pick up the bill. It was over $200. That's not okay. He hasn't even messaged me or anything. He literally just disappeared, ghosted me. He's gone. Like, what?
Wow, about time. A man finally gets a free meal. But all jokes aside, I'm really confused here. Why would you run up the bill to $200 on the first date? That man probably felt like she was trying to take advantage of him, so he had to go. It's not just about the money. It speaks volumes about respect and consideration. On a first date, You're still getting to know each other, and common courtesy should apply.
This is for all my single friends over 50. Why do you think it's so difficult to find companionship at our age? It's tough. I didn't think it was going to be this difficult to ever find someone just to share the simple pleasures of life. But man, it's crazy out there. Whether you use a dating app, I know meeting someone through another friend, that doesn't always end up too good when it doesn't work out. I don't know. Maybe we've got to figure this code out. Are we wanting too much? Are we expecting too much? I know that I'm not. I mean, at this time in our lives, most of us have our own dwellings, jobs. Obviously, we're supporting ourselves. We took all the filling out of the pie. So it should just be fun, companionship, laughter. And yet, it's stupid how difficult it is. So if you break the code and you want to share it with me, I'd love to know what it is. Time is ticking.
The simple truth is that by the time you hit 50, the amount of baggage tends to pile up. And for most men, that's just something they don't want to deal with. Sure, everyone has baggage, life happens, and we all accumulate our fair share. But there's a point where it becomes too much to handle, especially in the dating world. At that age, it's not just about emotional baggage, but also the complications of past relationships, divorces, kids, financial issues, or even deeply ingrained habits and unresolved traumas. For a man, stepping into that situation can feel overwhelming. He might be looking for peace, simplicity, and companionship without the heavy weight of someone else's history dragging him down. It's one thing to share a life together and grow through challenges, but it's another to inherit layers of issues that have nothing to do with him, but will still affect the relationship. This too much baggage becomes a deterrent, pushing men away because they know they'd be stepping into a situation that's more about managing drama and past scars than building something new and fulfilling.
Well, guys, I think you finally succeeded. I think I have lost the absolute last shred of hope I had that there's still good men left in the world. Just went on a date. I thought it was going well. Talked nonstop, not me, back and forth, for over an hour. And then all of a sudden he had to take a call from a client. And he never fucking came back. And I got stuck with a $90 tab for his beers and pizza. So, yeah, I'm not doing this anymore. 4B movement all the fucking way from here on out. You guys suck.
It's unfortunate what happened, but guys are victims of that treatment as well. Men get used on dates for free meals way more than women do, yet they still go out there and try to find their match. It's a sad reality that some men feel like they're just seen as a free meal ticket or an ATM, rather than being valued for who they are as individuals. I'm not saying what happened was right, but she just got a taste of a man's reality. The good guys are out there. They're really not hard to find.
Being single and trying to find companionship over 50 we know is difficult. The struggle is real. My girlfriend, so happy for her, is over 50 and finally found someone. Unfortunately, his children are less than accepting of the relationship. And I feel so bad because it's really put a strain on things. I just wish that the adult children could at least try to embrace it. Life is too short. No one's trying to replace your mother or your father, nor could they. Just try.
So I'm going to be honest. Dating is not fun anymore. There's a whole lot of red flags in this little dating pool. And let me tell you, I am quick to delete and block. This guy, matched with him, cute, messages me, first thing, what are you doing on this dating app? You just are so blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay. Didn't respond, messaged me, what do you want? I want this, just kind of like a partner, not really a relationship, but just kind of see how it goes. Also, do you have a snap? Nobody. I do not want to be sent some random pictures, and you know what I'm talking about. No. Red flags. There's lots of red flags out there. All I keep doing is catching red flags. I'm done catching red flags. If you can relate, put a red flag in the comments. I am done.
You guys, me and the dating department right now are struggling a lot. Sometimes I feel as though I'm the problem. But you know what? I don't think I am. I just know what I want. And it's true what they say, the older you get, the harder it is to find someone, the pickier you become. I have two issues. I either find the nice ones that are really, really nice, but they're boring and there's no connection or whatever. And then I find the ones that I'm attracted to and I like, they're okay for a week, and then their true colors come out. And then you're just like, no, you might be good looking or whatever, but it's just not going to work. And what I've realized that dating is not hard. Communicating is not hard. I don't understand why people make it so difficult at the early stages of dating. You know what I've just realized? I've realized that men are so slow when it comes to maturity. Like, they really are behind women. And I'm just dating. There's nothing wrong with dating and getting to know people. I just know that my time right now is not to be in a relationship, and that is totally fine.
If you keep attracting the same type of guys, it's time to realize that you might be the common denominator. People need to understand that whatever energy they put out there is what's gonna come back to them. If you are too picky about the men you date, then most likely you will end up single for a long time. This woman is a perfect example. She found a nice guy, but because he was too boring, it wasn't enough for her. Then she runs into a Chad, the guy with excitement and looks, but surprise. It still wasn't enough for her. It sounds like she's constantly searching for something that doesn't exist or can't satisfy her because she's too indecisive about what she actually wants. In situations like this, it's not just about finding the right guy. It's about being honest with yourself about what you're truly ready for. If you can't appreciate the nice guy and the thrill of the exciting guy isn't enough, then maybe the issue isn't the men, but your own indecision or lack of readiness for a real relationship.
When a woman is done with you, she will always leave in peace. When a woman fights with you, however, she is probably going to stay and try to work things out with you. Because women, when we fight, it's because we care. But when we stop fighting, it's because we stop caring. And when we stop caring, we walk away. That's why when a woman is truly done with you, she will literally take her things, pack everything up, mourn the relationship, and then walk out the door and never ever look back.
This isn't something that's only unique to women. This literally goes both ways. It's something that's embedded in both men and women. The difference is, once she leaves, she will already be in the arms of another man that was there while y'all was together, and that's her backup. You just never knew about him.
If he's not talking to multiple girls, it's kind of a red flag.
All right, fine. I'll ask. How exactly is that a red flag?
Why does no one want this one? No one wants this one?
Is this supposed to be another fine example of some feminine logic? Some women only want a guy when other women want him?
Why not? What's wrong? Was there a conversation that I missed?
Sorry guys, it looks like no matter what you do, you're gonna come out looking bad in someone's eyes. Because either you don't talk to enough women, or you talk to too many women. It's like there's no winning here, is there?
I don't even know how men would talk to all these women in the first place, considering it's harder for them to get any luck on dating apps. Women with this logic are only feminizing themselves into a cat-filled life. There's no saving for them.
Do you think that as a woman ages, dating becomes easier or harder for her?
Harder. Harder but easier because we know what we like versus what we don't like.
So you have even higher standards as you age.
Absolutely.
But you're also going for the top tier guys.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Do you think that those top tier guys are going for women in your age category or younger women?
Ooh. That's a tough one.
It depends how old they are, but I feel like men go through a stage where they date younger and they realize that was a terrible decision because it's like, I wouldn't want to date my younger self. But like me now, I think I'm a pretty stand-up individual.
So why do you think that as a woman ages, dating becomes harder for her?
We get pickier and we realize our worth and how much we have to put up with and what birthing a child actually is when we hear about all of our friends that have children. It's a lot of work. And it's just like, I think we also find ourselves. Like once you find yourself and you really become comfortable with just being by yourself and being, I'm an independent woman, then it doesn't matter.
The moment they don't get the looks or attention they used to get, it gets harder. It has nothing to do with being picky. When they're younger, their options are endless. That changes with age. The realization of their value is weird because it's always been there. My brain is hurting. They get older and they want higher standard man. Seriously? Dating a younger woman was a terrible decision. Now I'm ready to make that same decision again. Can't help it. One thing we've learned here is the fact that their delusion don't age out. Only they do. And women work backwards. Why do they think their standards should be higher when they're older versus when they're younger? It's like a single mom who got pregnant and says, "Now I'm going to look for a good man." Finding that good man should have been your top priority. It's crazy how they say they're going for top-tier men, and after all this time, they've been unable to lock one down. It says a lot. They will keep chasing this top-tier man until they find themselves heading into their loneliness.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but sis, if you want a man, you have to go outside. I'm speaking to myself too. He's not gonna find you in your room watching Netflix and scrolling TikTok. Get off of TikTok right now and go outside. You can go to a coffee shop. You could go to the gym. You can take yourself out to dinner. Just get outside.
So let's talk about this dating in your 40s game. How many of you guys out there are 40 and over and back into the dating game, either never being married or after divorce or a long relationship? It's a whole new ball game. I know for me, after being married for a while and back in the dating game, what do you guys experience? I've had some crazy ones. I could write a book about my dates. Crazy ones. What do you guys got?
This is going to ruffle some feathers, but I truly believe being a woman in your early 30s and single is truly the hardest. Societal pressure is at an all-time high to be in a relationship. Most of your friends are going to be in relationships. They're going to be married. They're going to have kids. So you're going to feel that pressure even more. And sometimes you're going to feel extremely isolated. Constantly deal with people asking you about your relationship status. Why aren't you dating? Who are you dating? The fear starts to kick in that you're running out of time. Pressure to settle for someone who might not actually fit the things that you're looking for. There's such a limited pool of men that are actually available. Most 31-year-old single men haven't really done the work. Jesse from Summer House, for example, he's going to jump from one girl to the next because he's tall, probably has a good job, lives in New York. So men that are in their early 30s are not really an option for us. And dating older, they're typically creepy or they just want a trophy wife. And dating younger, they're just mentally not there. Probably aren't looking for the same things. It's so challenging to manage a career, struggling
to navigate the dating scene, actually find a meaningful connection. Then you also hit this point when you're in your 30s where you're really secure in knowing what you want, actually okay being alone, but you're worried about people labeling you as undesirable or unsuccessful because of your single relationship status. But like you're missing out on experiences that you would have if you did have a partner. Admittedly, I am a little bit fixed in my ways when it comes to my routine. When I was in my 20s, I was a bit more spontaneous with my day-to-day, and you're going out a lot more. So as of right now, I am not dating. I am just focusing on my friendships, my career, and me, and that feels right.
Well, it is true that dating is hard for women in their 30s or older, and men are well advised to try and stay away from those women because they're usually bringing trauma and baggages along with them. Another reason why these women can't get into relationships is because they've already skipped over the guys who would date them seriously in their 20s. Basically, in their prime, they prioritize all the chads, but then later on pay the consequences. Another reason is these women are looking for perfection. A man can have everything but that one thing, and she will still say, "It's not enough for me." If these women are really worried about building families, it is something to do earlier on.